Hello, this is Thomas from Miles of Whatcom, and what I have to talk to you today is about making sure that your house is ready for the market, regardless of what price your home is at. If you're looking to sell your home, it's extremely important. It's actually more important now than it was 6 months or a year ago to ensure that your property is ready for buyers and is appealing to buyers. Now, why do I say it's more important now than it was before? Well, 6 months or a year ago, when the interest rates were lower, if a house hit the market, especially within a certain price, certain price ranges, a house would hit the market and a flurry of buyers would run to the house, go take a look at the house, and it would most likely be pending same day or within 3 or 4 days, almost regardless of conditions, so long as it was priced well. And if it appealed well to buyers, well, then the price went sort of out of control and it always went for higher than asking. So fast forward to today, where the interest rates are significantly higher, and they're not by any stretch of the imagination record high. They're still below national average, historic averages. But in terms of the price of the house is going up, with the interest rates going up, that also means that the monthly payment has gone up, and buyers are, number one, losing some purchasing power, and number two, because of that, houses are sitting on the market a little longer. They have a little bit more options and availability as to what's on the market, because they are sitting on the market longer. So instead of 1 day or 3 days or 5 days before it goes pending, a lot of properties are sitting 20, 30, 40 days. They're seeing some price reductions. Now, eventually the houses are going pending. It's just the nature of the market right now. But what I'm trying to emphasize on the importance here is, if your house is market ready, if it is appealing to buyers, if it's in really good shape, if it's updated, if it's got nice features, all of those things, and it's still priced competitively, well, then at that point, it stands out from the rest. And I'm going to actually show you a good example of what that just happened. And the reason that I have such a good understanding of this property, and let me pull that up now. The reason I have such a good understanding of this property is because I used to own it. This house, my wife and I lived in until about a year and a half ago, when we sold it in June of 2021. At the time, we sold it for $425,000. And this was at the height of the crazy. Now, we priced it probably a little bit low because at the time, in order for us to buy the house that we're in currently, we actually had to submit it without a contingency. Meaning our offer that we submitted was without a contingency, because that was the nature of the market at the time. Now, that has no bearing on what's going on today. And that's really not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to talk about the fact that this same house, a little over a year later, when the interest rates have gone up, sold for $60,000 more than it did in the middle of the rising price craziness that took place about a year ago. And so the important part is that this house stood out. Now, the current owners didn't do a huge amount in terms of upgrades. It looks like, looking through the photos, they have stained the back deck. They've painted a couple walls as accent walls. The whole house had already been repainted. The exterior of the house had literally just been painted. We rebuilt all of the decks. They just restained them. All the floors had already been done. Oh, I guess they swapped out a couple light fixtures as well. So for instance, this is a different light fixture. They painted the back wall here blue. It used to be the same whitish color. Let's see here. Of course, the furniture is a little bit different. But as you look at this, the photos stand out. The home itself looks very well dialed in. It looks clean. It looks like there aren't any problems going on with the house. Everything looks newer and updated. It appeals to buyers. And so this house stood out on the market to the potential buyers that wanted to come out and buy property. Now, this house is located in Glen Haven, and what I will say is the location itself is how do I put this? It appeals to some, absolutely, but the masses would not be appealed to the location, because it's in the area of Glen Roads, and it's sort of in the middle back section of Glen Roads, which means you have to drive through some twisty, steep, really narrow roads in the middle of the trees to get. Now, for some, that sounds amazing, like living in the middle of the trees. For the majority of people, when they came out to look, at least the feedback that we received on this property, was that they didn't really like having to drive up to where the house was. So, point there being is that the location wasn't 100% appealing for all potential buyers. But that being said, the house itself is really dialed. It's got nice upgrades on the floors. It's got nice upgraded bathrooms. It's got nice upgraded front and back porches. New paint throughout, inside and out. All the trim is nicely done and painted and clean. All of that appeals to the buyers. And so when you are preparing your home for sale, if you want to appeal to buyers, if you price it appropriately for this market, and you've got upgraded features, or you've got all the paint is dialed in, all the trim is dialed in, the house is very clean, that is really going to read well to buyers, both in the photos and when they go to walk the property. These type of things are going to make the house a much easier sell, because that's what buyers are looking for. They have more options available than they did a year ago. That means that you need to make your house stand out. And so this house actually went on the market, looking at this here, it went on the market August 4th at a price of $475, and it went pending 3 days later. And this is in 2022. August of 2022, after the rate increase. So keep in mind that this house is in the Glen Haven area, therefore the prices do tend to be a little bit lower than Sudden Valley, which then also in turn tends to be a little bit lower than most areas within Bellingham itself. So point here being, and it sold for $485. It actually sold for $10,000 over the asking price after the rate increases. So this would still be considered a first-time home buyer home. It's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, just shy of 1,700 square foot, with a 2-car garage on a medium-sized lot in the middle of Glen Haven. All of that being, it's a really good house. It's really ready for the next owner. But other than that, it is not, it's not exceptionally large. It's not, it doesn't have amazing lake views or anything. There was nothing in that nature that makes this house exceptionally stand out against the competition, aside from it's got, good staging, it's got good photos, and it's clean, and the house itself is just really well dialed in and ready for the next owners to move in. And so when you put those things together, it makes it a really competitive house on the market.